Back on the greenhouse, I've been installing these little clips that the rope's attached to. These ropes zigzag in front of this roll-up panel so that the panel can't blow out here with the wind. So then the panel just rolls straight up and down and the sides never blow out. So I got my anti-billow ropes. So this end of the greenhouse is still wide open. I think I figured out why this is at an angle, and I might be able to fix it, by the way. So that side's open. This side is completely open. I haven't even put anything on this side yet, but I'm about to start doing that. I just hung this thermometer in here, and I'm showing 95 degrees. Just right here, 95 degrees. I don't know if it's heat. No, the thermometer doesn't feel hot. So it's measuring that temperature, I think back here on the back of the thermometer. A couple minutes later, it's showing 106. And right now it's 66 degrees out there, out here, right beside me. 66, 106. I don't know if I might need to, maybe I need to put some kind of shade over this to help protect it from direct sunlight, but it's not even warm at all. It's just cool. I need to figure that out. But standing here right next to it, it does feel like I'm gonna break a sweat. Okay, now I have the back on. I might build some kind of frame down here to make it solid at the bottom, and maybe put a door and maybe possibly a vent or something. I don't think I'm gonna use this as a roll-up side. Actually, as I say that, I might be changing my mind. I'm realizing that I might be able to set it up for the roll-up and just be able to pull, well, no, I won't be able to pull the corner open. Just trying to figure out how I can get in and out as if there's a door. I just don't want to have to roll the whole end open to walk in and walk out. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. At the same time, I don't want this side. I was gonna just make this side completely stationary all the time. Still trying to decide. A couple of hours have gone by since we were looking at the thermometer, and it has gotten clearly warm in here, just with 3 sides closed. And now we're at 120 almost, 118. It just doesn't feel, it's warm. I'm sweating, but it doesn't feel like 118. So again, I might need to shade that somehow. I need to figure out how to get an accurate temperature. This side is even open to just a little, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like any air is moving through. All these sheep have turned this color, where we used to have a fire there. I guess they've enjoyed wallowing around in that ash. So now they're all gray. Brothers and sisters are meeting with each other. These are the 2 babies from before, and these are the 2 new babies of these 2 sheep right here. I don't know if they're sad that they're left out. I think they're just fascinated. So that last video was yesterday, and we've made it through the night using only solar. One thing I really liked about it was that it was so dark out here. We didn't have our security lights on, and so the sky was really nice last night, seeing the stars, which inspired me to take a look at that comet that's visible right now. You know, it's visible with a telescope or binoculars. So I went over and thought about getting out my stuff to put together the telescope, and realized, wait a minute, I don't have power out there, so I can't use the telescope. Little things like that were popping up. I just went to see how the batteries were doing, maybe 8:30 last night or something, and I watched the power pretty quickly go from the battery's 95% down to about 93%. And I was like, we are burning some electricity. We're using way more than we used during the day. What's going on here? And I was thinking, maybe it's because the kids are using their devices or TV or things like that. And those things just don't use a lot of power. And walking in and out, looking at different things, I could hear the charger on the golf cart and realized, wait a minute, I don't want to be charging my golf cart batteries at night when I'm running off my house batteries. So I unplugged that, and that took the power down quite a bit. I mean, that like knocked it in half how much power we were using. A couple minutes later, I walk by and I look, and we're using even more power. And I'm like, what is happening? And then I realize, oh, it's the well pump is running, and it only runs for just a few minutes until it pressurizes the tank inside the house, and then it stops. So once that stopped, we were back down to a reasonable amount of power. Then not long before I was going to go to bed, I fired up the generator, which you just saw, and let it run for a while. And I probably had to run it, I think I was running it roughly about an hour to cool the freezer back down to where it was going to make it all night. And then I go out and look, and the freezer is back up to, you know, it had gone down to like 4 degrees, and I was just waiting for it to go down a couple more degrees. And then I go back out there and it's up to 10 degrees, and I think, oh no, what's the problem? And I think maybe it was running some kind of defrost cycle or something. A little while later, it was back down again. Just do this during the day if we're ever using solar. It was really loud running the generator. Of course, we don't really have many people close to us, but I have a feeling my neighbor on that side probably could hear it if he was standing outside. So a lot of times when the power goes out, you don't want to draw tons of attention to you and your generator and have all your neighbors saying, hey, let me borrow some power, or hey, let me use that generator some. The truth is, we do want to be ready to help our neighbors too, so it's good to have things that we can offer to especially help people that can't really help themselves, elderly people or handicapped people, or, you know, just any kind of situation where we can reach out. The thing was really loud, and it ended up taking about an hour and a half to get the freezer run back down well. So I think the freezer was around 17 degrees. We ran it back down to about 4 degrees, maybe 3. And then after 9 hours, you know, of sleep, and then I came out and did work, and then realized, oh, I need to go check on the freezer. It was back to about 16 degrees. So in 9 hours, that's not bad at all. Of course, this is a cool time of year, so I'm not sure how it'll do in the summer. We'll have to check on it again around that time. Cindy said that one of the perches in the chicken coop is broken. Okay, so I see this one. I think we can probably just put a piece of wood across it and put some screws in it and everything will be good. Also, by the time we started generating some solar again this morning, I think our batteries were down to 60%, 60 or 61%. So that's another thing that's not bad. That's good to have plenty of reserve left in the morning. And especially on an overcast day like today, you know, we're going to generate power really slowly. So if we didn't... So as I was saying, if we're generating power really slowly and we don't get all the way back up to 100% before bedtime tonight, then we would need as much reserve as possible to make it through the next night. Imagine several overcast days when we might end up without electricity. You know, if, say, a hurricane went through and knocked out the power for 2 weeks, and then we had 4 days in a row of overcast days, we might just be in the same boat everybody else is in. Well, I guess the older babies were jealous or really missing their moms or something. But last night they figured out some way to jump over the center fence. So now they're together. The other sheep stayed over there.